In this video, we're going to review the printing of sales cards, as some refer to it. But really what this is the representation of promotional prices into some type of card stock. In this example here, we have 4 cards per 8.5 by 11 page piece of paper, and for all the contents of that promotion. So this video is going to go over how do you get to this spot that you have the ability to print this. First, we're going to go in and just orient everybody to the sale itself. We're going to go into POS, file maintenance, and promotions. This particular data set that we have is several different sales during the time. Most are not current, as in currently active, as in this active button here. But inside this utility, they've created the list of items to put on sale. If we go into the modify, we'll see that this particular product, go to edit, is typically $4.99, but it's on sale for $3.99, etc., etc. So the normal promotional structure. Inside the promotional maintenance for this particular canning sale is the detail button. Inside that is reports and print labels. The print labels is for the promotional price. It will show on the label, or you can print regular prices for that product. So I could see that you create the promotional group, you print all your labels for that active, important note, active sale, and it prints all the promotional prices. If you print prices for an inactive sale, it will show 0 price on that promotional label, just a control thing. To replace those labels, you would then print the retail price. So it controls whether you print the promotional active price or the regular retail price. So there's control there. How do I print the promotional prices? Is that I go to promo price. I pick, in this particular case, you called a form 4x4. We're going to go in this particular case to my PDF printer just for convenience of presentation, and we'll hit print. In my case, it's going to ask for the file name, which we'll give it. We'll replace that. Normally you would be printing directly to a printer, and then I will show you my format. So if I open up this PDF file and slide in front of you, you will now see that image that we saw earlier here of the 4 prices, and that's where they get presented. Again, if that promotion was inactive, this price would be 0. Now we'll go look next at the modification of the label to get to this spot that we can print this large format. To modify or create labels, we go to System, we go to Form Label Editor. In this particular case, we'll go to Labels. We will see that the label that we have modified is the 4x4. Let's go look at its content, and then we'll come back around and how did we get to that spot. Under Properties, the important part here is that its labels per row is 2. That's how you get that 2x2. You get left and right, back and forth, different labels. If we select Modify Label, in my case, I'm going to my PDF printer. You would be going to your color printer or your standard page printer. And now is the modified text that has been created. There's several elements to this. This particular text is simply text. It's this box in the report controls. Report controls may not be present on your desk until you go and view, there it is right here. We're looking for report controls here. That turns it off and on. So this button creates text. So we double click there and we can type any text that you want. That text, highlight it, you can go up to format and you can change the font. You can change the bold style, font style, and also the size. So knowing that, and I'm going to erase this, I'm just highlighting and erasing. If I want to go change, I'm double clicking on this, I want to go change something, I can go style because I'm on the label component of that text. Here's my style of Georgia 8 bold, and I can change that. So let's go down to this image down here. This is a arbitrary logo. That is the presence of this icon, this ELO, OLE, excuse me. If you click on that, you start your space that you want that in. You go find the file name, which the control source is where we really want it, is in the root of your server. And this on my workstation, it's this location here. And there's all your different logos that may be your JPEGs that may be present. So you simply pick it. It would then get represented on the screen. And also what you want to do is under the source frame, and the source and frame are different sizes. You want to check this so it will resize to the portions that the original image was in, so you don't get an elongated or a collapsed image. So once that is present, you can click on that image and then adjust it. Grab the corner, make it bigger, move it around. So pretty straightforward. Now, we covered text, we covered images. This is another text, that's another text. So one of the things here you may want to do is how do you get things aligned? So you can go into the alignment tool, the layout toolbar, and there's your left. Oh, there's my right. There's my right alignment. I can also adjust that particular one as far as positioning. But also I can go and align up. These are fields that contain variables. I can also align those left or right as what your formats need to look like. Now, design-wise, in this particular case, I've tried to keep the same font throughout all representations, trying to match this particular, like a Georgia font style, so it just is cleaner on the final product. So now let's come around to these variable fields. So description, that came out of the original label that we modified. We scooted things around, but it's just C description. This is a variable that's passed to this form at the time of printing of the current C description that's found in inventory for that product. This item no is a similar, there's a text, but if I want to put text in front of something, it's simple assembly with additions, if you want to call it. So in quotes is item no, quotes on either side, then a plus, as you see here, then C item ID, which is a character value. This is a character, so plus a character is good. There's no mathematical issue, it just assembles those characters together. Now you can't, if this was a Y, or etc., that's a, in the code, that is a numeric value. I can't put a numeric plus a character because that is nonsense. So you have to be careful that you may have to change the values all to character, or everybody has to be value based. So that being said, there's item no and C item ID. So, and this is just a modification that we could have done it like this. We could have put characters in the front plus simply see item ID and line those up so that they're squared up. Now this value, this big if, there's a fair amount of logic in this particular value that if it's greater or less than percentage, it shows a special character or not. And that's what that character 162 is. It's a sense value. So it deals with those characters. And typically you leave this thing alone. The biggest thing you're going to be doing here is changing the font size. So if I want to change the font size of this, I go click on it. So you got the little dots around it. You go to format is one way of doing it. And then you go see that's Georgia bold and 60. Now there are some preset values, but you can type in the value you want. Oh, that's about right. And so you adjust as needed. Y list is simply the list price of the product. This field, Y list minus promotion is the savings, or promote Y promotion, promo price is simply the savings. So these things are pretty simple once you start to get a hold of it and then just altering it. Now, the important part here is the size of the label. Um, if we look here, an 8.5 by 11 page, because on the form, the label form, the bottom of that initial, when we open up that form, it said 2 labels per row. So expectation is we're using 8.5 by 11, but 2 will divide that page in half. So that's 8.5. There's 8.25. There's 8.5 right there. So that's why this is only so wide. But when originally opening this, the length of this label, this height, will only be about 2 inches. So an easy way of adjusting that to the exact spot is you right click on detail, you go to properties, and you tell it under general, how tall do you want that? 5.437 or whatever fractional portion you want versus I'm going to scale it up and down. So by viewing this, I think we got it about the right spot. When it actually prints, it looks good. So there's the height of the label is controlled by this detail general tab, and you just tell it what you want. So all this being said, to save a form edit, we do Control W. You save it. That's okay. We're done with that. Now I want to go print this particular stack of cards for a specific promotion. So I'm going to go to POS, File Manager. I'm going to go Promotions. We're going to scoot down here a little bit. I'm going to get the canning sale. There it is at the top. I'm going to go to Promotions. It is active. Again, if not checked, it's going to be 0 promotional price because it's not an active price. I'm going to go to Details. I'm going to go Print Labels, Print Promo Labels. In my case, I'm going to a PDF. Otherwise, you're going to your local printer. I'll get my save. Check to make sure that's still closed. I'll go open that file, and there it is. So if you don't like the size of regular price, you simply edit it. If you don't want it like it, you delete those and just leave it the savings. You can move that around. This is the physical date of it actually printing. There's your page. Cut up your labels, cards into their sizes as indicated, and you're ready to go. Thank you. Let's continue this conversation further into how did we get the form in the right place at the right time. So if we go back, we're going to leave the promotional screen. We're going to go into System, Form and Label Editor, labels, and we want to, how do we get to this spot? So let's go of a form being present and the fields being there. So if we go to new, we're going to, let's go call this test, just for the sake of argument. Test promo label. That's fine. I'm going to go to type of label, because what we're wanting to look for is this bin label, and that's not going to be the form size that we saw just a moment ago because we've modified it. And then we're going to change this to 2 rows, because we don't want a label on the left, label on the right, another label on the left, label on the right, further down the page of this 8.5 by 11. We're going to select modify label, and it's going to create a label form called test. It's not present, makes sense. So it's going to create it. PDF, that's fine, or your local printer. Now, this is where you look at it and say, that doesn't make much sense. That's only an 8.5, it's a 2 by 3 or 2 by 2 label. That's right. So we're going to first go up to File, Page Setup, and number of columns, we're going to change the form to 2. This can get a little confusing, but the 2 labels per column told the data how to get set up. We're telling the piece of paper how to get it set up right here. So that's what we're doing here. So we're going to change this to 2. Now the width suddenly updates to 4.25. That's what we want. And in this particular case, I'm going to the PDF printer. So we select save. So there's my form width like we want. Now I want the height. So half of 11 is about a 5.5. Give some margin lean. So we're going to right click on this detail. We go to properties. Now you can pull this down, but I'm pretty straightforward. I want 5.25, something to that effect. And suddenly it's going to then be that long. So from here, what we're going to do is, if you remember on the previous screen, if you remember on the previous screen, we had these fields that look something like that. This is the price and the cents value. I'm just going to pull this down and put it right here. Now, if I look further in this screen, I will see the item ID. I like that, sort of right about there. I can scoot some of this out of the way, just to move it out of the way. And that stuff out of the way, because we're going to delete a lot of those. Now my date I put it down here. Barcode, if you wanted it, you could put it someplace. We're not right now. And description. So actually I had description above, and I believe we're going to get rid of all these values. You could have location. I guess you could stick that down here. Where do I find this product on sale? That's going to, if you use locations, help staff locate products. UPC code could be used. So you get the point. You can put these things in a sort of a central lower spot, but the customer view needs to be this upper space. So with that being said, that's the class of the product. And I'm just clicking and then dragging this out. That's the country. Then we do that on some of the codes. So I think really we can do this. We're going to highlight those and delete. We're going to highlight these, delete those. And then what I would like to do, remember we talked about this label or text as I referred to it. I simply click on the screen where I want to start, and I'm going to put in here money savers. So that's in default text. simply highlight it. I can go up to format, go to font, and we're using uh, Georgia, bold, and 28 or whatever. You find out what works for you. Now I can, if I double click it, I go all the way into the styles. If I click on it, I can move it around so I can get in the right spot. So I can take this description, I can grab the corner of it and then pull it out. I can get this lined in the middle. I can click on this, change my font, go to font. Let's do Georgia again. And maybe I don't want bold. I maybe want just regular, and I'll probably bring this up to something like a 20. And that's where my description is going to be. And then I can put my ID here, and I can change my font also on it. And you can pick multiple fields and change the font format on multiples at one time, whatever your preference. If I scoot this down here, I get my labels in the right place. I can put other text values like we did the money savers. And again, probably I want to put a logo in here. So I pick that OLE. I highlight the space I want to go to. I tell it the source, as in where's my file. I'm going to go find my appropriate directory, which contains my JPEGs. And I'll pick that one like we showed before. And I'm going to make it retain the shape is important. Otherwise you get some out of balance images. Once it's there, I can then stretch it out and put it like I want. So it's a manipulation of this form. And then once you are finished, and that's certainly a number of more steps, but you get the general idea of how it's done. You go up to File and Save, or you can press Control W as it states here, and save the form. And OK. Then you would go into, in this case, POS, File Maintenance, and go through the procedure that we were talking about earlier of picking up the sale, going to Details. We're checking to make sure it's active, which it is. Details, Print Labels, Promo Price. Pick the appropriate label, and then print that active sale. Thank you.